To start with, we have Douglas Hoffman, a marine wildlife photographer, and he's going to give you a talk about In the Presence of Giants, My Time with Humpback Whales. You know, Douglas is well known for his fine art photographs of humpback whales. There's some on display down at Tribute, down in Motlaya right now at our Tribute. In January 2012, he received the prestigious award for Master of Photography degree from the Professional Photographers of America. His goal is to evoke compelling images of nature that reflect beauty and drama in order to evoke an emotional response and awareness. Over the last 6 years, Douglas has traveled to Tonga to document whale behavior, and he's also traveled to photograph the sperm whales in the Azores. Ladies and gentlemen, Douglas Hoffman.
Well, you know what they say, the anticipation of a moment, sometimes better than the moment. Not tonight. Tonight you're going to see some things that perhaps many of you will never see on your own because you're airspace breathers and don't really want to get underwater. And I don't blame you. So where's the clicker? We're at the end. Can we bring it to the beginning? I think it's better if we start at the beginning. That's the last one. So I'm going to talk backwards real quick, just so you can see me do it. I'm so good at this, I'll talk backwards like this. Nothing like having a peek at the experience. We're getting closer. There we go. All right, everybody, that's my name, that's my website. Let's get started. First thing I want to do is say mahalo to Greg and the Pacific Whale Foundation and all of you for coming tonight. Thank you very much for being here. It really means a lot. And how about David's program last night? How many of you saw David Fleetham's program last night? He's an inspiration, talented photographer. And I also want to thank last night's presenters for sharing their valuable insight as to why ocean debris, plastic, and the damage it causes are issues to be followed and addressed. These are not issues that we should leave to our children. These are issues we should tackle now. So thank you very much. How about a hand for those guys last night? I'd also like to acknowledge my wife and daughters, Hana, Aya, and Mieko. It's not easy being married to a marine photographer because I disappear for a long period of time. And it's not hard. I mean, it's hard to raise a family when you're gone. And so I couldn't do what I do without their help. So thank you. And I'm really excited to hear tonight's experts. So what do you say we rock and roll and get started? Well, I saw my first humpback whale on the back wall of Molokini while doing a safety stop, and that was a life-changing moment for me. I'd been a professional diver for years, thousands and thousands and thousands of hours underwater, and I'd never seen a whale. All this time on reefs, and I've never seen a whale, so it was spectacular. And it became the catalyst for me to get involved with NPOs around the world and try to do some wonderful things. I wanted to help educate the public, and I had that lofty goal that my images could help raise social awareness. Somebody has to. So I really feel that the NPOs, nonprofit organizations that I hooked up with, they have a great audience. I mean, you're here. And they send a great message that's well listened to. So when my photographs are coupled with great writing and good messaging, social change can happen, and it's such an honor to be a part of that. So these are some of the accolades I've had in the last few years. Really proud of this. 250,000 signed petitions sent right to President Obama, and another ration of 250,000 signed petitions to the European Whaling Organization in Brussels. You know, this is how change happens, one signature at a time. Most recently, in China, I know this isn't a whale issue, but sharks are the barometer of our oceans, and the shark images that I've been able to donate have been used wisely. And just recently on Earth Day, Dr. Jane Goodall, who I'm sure you all have heard of, has a new environmental program for educating kids. And my shark images, as you see up there in the background, are used at the China Zoo. And so thousands of people cycle through there every day. And what a chance to evoke change by telling them, hey, it's not cool to eat shark fin soup. Right into the hornet's nest, so to speak. And it's a privilege to see my images used as billboards, trying to market this idea. It's very, very satisfying. One of the other things that I started is something called Art for Conservation. And this is where I've selected a few of my favorite images, and I donate a percentage of the proceeds from fine art sales to that NPO. And Greg didn't know it, but tonight I picked an image that will be on my website from now on, this image called Graceful, and a percentage of all the profits till the end of time will be donated to the Pacific Whale Foundation. There's other NPOs that I support because the message is big, and the demand for communicating that these whales need to be preserved is ever present. So, if you didn't know, swimming with whales is against the law. How many of you didn't know that? I'm just curious. Wow. Okay. That might explain why I see people on paddle boards and in kayaks out there in Maui frequently. I'm not blaming you that raised your hand, by the way, but just the percentage of the people in the public who are unaware of that. And it's really against the law. And, you know, I live in Maui, and I see these whales year after year, and it's incredibly tempting. God, I want to do it. But it's wrong. So you guys need to refrain from that behavior and tell people that go swimming with whales, if you know them, that it's wrong. Having said that, there are ways that you can do it legally, okay? So I did some research because I wanted to do it legally. This thing called integrity, it's a hard bear to shake. So I researched and I found that Tonga was one of the places in the world where a limited number of boats are given license or permit to allow people to snorkel with whales. Pretty cool. Tonga is a remote place. It's kind of like the Wild West. There's another place that you can do it. It's in the Silver Banks. I'm told, because I have not been there, that the visibility is better in Tonga. That's why I've concentrated on Tonga and not the Silver Banks. How many of you have ever seen a whale underwater? Raise your hand. See, we're airspace seers. We live above the surface. This is a whole alien world for many of you. And the only time most of you get to see the whales is when you're stuck in traffic on the Poly Highway and you see the tail slapping, and I've made my point. This last year in 2011, I tried something I have never done before. I bought a little teeny video camera called a GoPro, and I mounted it next to my still camera. And so while I'm working and doing my thing, those of you who have never swam with whales before can get a little idea of what it's like. This next clip I'm going to show you is 1.5 minutes long. You're going to hear the audio of my camera. Guys, be ready because the shutter's kind of loud. You're going to hear the sound of the whales singing. And I am not a professional video guy. I'm a professional photographer. I need to make that clear. I don't know how to do fine-tuning little things to the video to make it awesome like I know how to do as a still photographer. Nevertheless, the impact of what you're about to see is going to take everybody in your seats who's never swam with whales and put you in my position. Are you ready? What? Okay. Just wanted to make sure you weren't asleep. Sorry. I'll press the button now. That's my breathing. That's my camera shutter. I'm reloading.